Hello YouTubers, Joel from Real Talk here, and today I am going to be reviewing episode 1 of the Star Wars prequel trilogy made and directed by George Lucas, The Phantom Menace. Now, we all have different opinions of the movies. I have my own, and you'll see my opinions on it very soon. But overall, I'm just going to go through a little bit of the movie, and to skip all that, you can click right here and skip to the actual review if you do not want to watch an overview of the entire plot, because why would you sit through an overview of the entire plot? However, if you like listening to my voice, go ahead and keep listening. So, before I move to my review, let's talk about the movie itself. Jedi Knight Qui-Gon Jinn, played by Liam Neeson, and his apprentice Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, are sent to settle a trade dispute between the Trade Federation and Queen Padme Amidala, played by Natalie Portman. The Federation puts a blockade over the planet of Naboo and forces the Queen to sign a trade agreement. The Jedi arrive on the Trade Federation ship after being sent by Chancellor Valorum. Before negotiations could begin, the Trade Federation attempted to assassinate the two Jedis. Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon escape with their lives and arrive on the planet's surface. With the assistance of a Gungan named Jar Jar Binks, the two reach Queen Amidala to help her escape from the planet and keeping her from signing the treaty. The group attempts to reach the Galactic Republic's home of Coruscant. The ship of the group, however, takes significant damage and stops by the planet of Tatooine. There, they meet Anakin Skywalker, played by Jake Lloyd, and meet his slave owner Watto. After negotiations for a piece of a ship fail, Qui-Gon Jinn and Watto agree to bet on an upcoming pod race. Anakin decides to aid the Jedi and decides to enter the pod race as his racer. Later, Qui-Gon meets Anakin's mother and tells her that his son has potential with the power of the Force. Later, a midichlorian count reveals to Qui-Gon Jinn that Anakin's count is higher than any other Jedi in the past, including the wise Master Yoda. The pod race commences and Anakin comes away as the winner after defeating Sebulba in the final lap. Qui-Gon Jinn wins the bet and also wins Anakin from Watto's possession. Anakin joins the group and heads to Coruscant, but on the way to Qui-Gon's ship, they are nearly intercepted by Darth Maul, a mysterious attacker with absolutely no backstory. After a quick duel, Qui-Gon and the others escape and head to the planet of Coruscant. Upon arriving Coruscant, Chancellor Valorum greets the arriving group and promises to deal with the Trade Federation in a large meeting. The Queen calls out the Chancellor and demands a vote for a new Chancellor after being talked into it by Senator Palpatine. Senator Palpatine says that the Senate deserves a new and stronger Chancellor. Meanwhile, Qui-Gon Jinn reveals Anakin to the Jedi Council and insists the boy is the chosen one to bring balance to the Force. After testings, the Jedi remain unsure on Anakin Skywalker if he is in fact the chosen one, and they also feel that he is way too old to be trained. How old do you have to be trained? I mean, do you pop out of your mother's womb and they train you? I don't understand that. Anyway, moving on, the Council also tells Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon to accompany the Queen back to Naboo. The Council hopes that the two can discover the identity of the mysterious attacker on going back to the planet. The group arrives to Naboo and align themselves with the Gungans to take down the Trade Federation from the Naboo city. The Jedi, Queen, and security break into the city while the Gungans battle the Trade Federation droids outside in the field. While fighting inside the city commences, Anakin accidentally gets into a Naboo fighter and accidentally flies into space along with other fighters. While doing all of this accidentally, while in pursuit of the Viceroy of the Trade Federation, the mysterious attacker known as Darth Maul intervenes and begins a duel with the two Jedi and completely ignores the other people, and they completely ignore him, and thus begins the duel of the fates. The Queen and the company find and hold the Viceroy hostage while the fighting continues. The Jedi continue to fight with Darth Maul for minutes and reach to an enclosed room. Obi-Wan is halted while Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul run off to their own duel. Qui-Gon is then stabbed by Darth Maul and falls forward. An angered Obi-Wan duels with Darth Maul, cuts him in half, and leaves him to fall down to his death in a hole. Obi-Wan runs to Qui-Gon to hold him for the last remaining seconds of what could be his life. Qui-Gon then makes Obi-Wan promise that he will train the young Anakin for his dying master. Master Qui-Gon then leaves Obi-Wan with the difficult task to train Anakin Skywalker, the supposed chosen one of the Force. Wow, thanks a lot, Qui-Gon. The Empire, Luke's hand getting cut off, that all started with you. Man, how can you like Qui-Gon? How can you like Qui-Gon? Anakin accidentally reaches into the ship and shoots the main power and escapes with his life the exploding ship to safety with the rest of the fighters. The droids without connection on the planet die after losing the connection with the destroyed Trade Federation ship. With the invasion ended and failed, the Viceroy is arrested by the Republic while the new Chancellor Palpatine reveals his recent election victory. Obi-Wan meets Yoda on the planet of Naboo and is told he's become a Jedi Master by the Council. However, the Council also denied the request to train Anakin. Obi-Wan tells Yoda he promised Qui-Gon Jinn that he will train the boy, and then Yoda agrees to allow him to train Anakin Skywalker. A funeral is held for Master Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan is there along with the young Anakin. Obi-Wan promises Anakin he will become a Jedi, while Master Mace Windu, played by Samuel L. Jackson, and Yoda quickly discuss the mysterious identity of the attacker known as Darth Maul. The two conclude he was only the apprentice, and the true master still hides among the shadows. A celebration commences, and Naboo and the Gungans come together to enjoy the victory. The credits roll, and the movie ends. To be honest, guys, I watched this movie first as a kid, and I loved it. I loved the pod race, I loved the lightsaber duels, I loved a lot of things about it. But now watching it again, I have different opinions about the movie, and it didn't take me very long to understand what went wrong with the movie and why it disappointed a lot of people on its premiere date in 1999. First of all, there is the midichlorian problems. I really do not like the midichlorians because it ruined a lot of things of what Yoda predicted in episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. He tells Luke Skywalker, it's not about your scientific count, it's not about your size, it's not about how fast you are, it's not about how strong you are. If you have a good willpower and if you have a strong enough heart, you can be one with the Force. However, a midichlorian count completely ruins this thing because now there's a count on how powerful you can be amongst the Force. I don't like that idea at all, and I thought that idea should have been scrapped from the very beginning. Another problem occurred with Jar Jar Binks. I really didn't like Jar Jar Binks, and I didn't even find him that annoying when I first watched it, but now watching it, I just cannot get rid of this cartoon rabbit from my screen. This guy jumps around, makes stupid jokes, and is just absolutely annoying on the screen. I mean, with all due respect, the guy who played him probably tried his very best, but at the end of the day, this guy, Jar Jar Binks, is not a funny character. He's just annoying to me. You can make the argument C-3PO and R2-D2 are the funny comedians, and why can't Jar Jar do the same thing? The reasons I say he can't be is because he's a CGI character, so he's not really there. Another thing is that he just gets himself in stupid situations and puts a lot of other people at risk. For example, he sends the Jedi down to the Gungan city. What if the Gungans decide to kill these Jedis? Thanks a lot, Jar Jar Binks, for getting us killed. There's a lot of things wrong with his character in general, but George Lucas for some reason brings him back in the next 2 movies after he does not get. The fans really don't like Jar Jar Binks. Another problem dives more into the end of the movie rather than anything else, but it's a constant problem that was building up. I remember from the first Star Wars, it was a single situation that needed to be taken care of. Blow up the Death Star or the planet is destroyed. And in episode 1, you get 4. You get the battle in the Gungans, you get the battle inside the Naboo Deep Palace, and you also get the Jedi fighting Darth Maul, and then you get Anakin Skywalker fighting a lot of people accidentally with in the outside in space trying to make some Star Wars thing. I'm just like, I'm confused. I want to follow one thing. I want to follow 2 things, maybe 3 things. But 4? Come on, George Lucas. 4 things. Even he admitted it was too much.
It's bold in terms of jerking people around, but I may have gone too far in a few places.
And he even shrugged at the idea and said, it's called style. George Lucas, just say it's a bad decision and move on. And my final problem with The Phantom Menace, I think there's plenty of other problems, but other things are just nitpicking. But this one is such a big problem with the movie and with the entire prequel in general. There is no relatable character in The Phantom Menace. I can't relate to Anakin Skywalker because he goes through accidents and is handpicked to be the chosen one of the Force. How is it supposed to average to your everyday person like me? I mean, I don't get situations like that every day, do you? I don't think so. Obi-Wan was very distant, complained a lot in this movie, and didn't really get fun or interesting until probably episode 2 or episode 3. And in episode 1, he was just a whiner. Can we relate to Natalie Portman? I don't know. She's a queen of a planet. I'm not a queen of anything. I'm not even a king of anything. Yeah, we really can't relate with her. Or her makeup. Gosh, there was so much makeup on her. I couldn't even tell if that's Natalie Portman or Keira Knightley, to be honest. Maybe that was the point. they got something good. In episode 4, A New Hope, the original Star Wars, we had Luke Skywalker coming from the very bottom pits of the galaxy known as Tatooine with no hope on doing something greater. He comes through a lot of hoops, loses the ones he loves, and reaches to a point where all responsibility is on him to destroy and to fulfill something. Luke was a relatable character that brought you into a world of a lot of space beings that otherwise you wouldn't connect with. People couldn't latch on to a character as well as they could with Luke Skywalker in this giant universe of space beings and CGI cartoon rabbits. With that said, I will give Phantom Menace 5 out of 10. Not because it was terrible, because there's a lot of worse movies out there, but because it was terrible from a vision point of Star Wars. If this wasn't Star Wars, this would probably be rated higher amongst a lot of critics, but since it followed the original trilogy with the themes and the storylines and the characters of the original trilogy, it fell flat. It fell flat on those levels, and especially coming from the guy who created the first one, George Lucas. You know, this really proved to me that George Lucas maybe wasn't the real guy who thought of everything in Star Wars. Maybe the producers, the editors, the actors had a hand in on the wonderful parts of the original trilogy, and that magic was gone in the Phantom Menace and the rest of the prequels. So guys, that is my review of the Phantom Menace. If you liked my review, if you disagree with it, comment below and let me know why you agree or disagree. Leave a like for this video. Also, if you get the chance to, guys, I would greatly appreciate that. What I would greatly appreciate even more is if you subscribe and leave more comments and likes on a lot of our other videos, and check them out. Guys, this has been Joe from Real Talk. Go watch some movies.